What's going on, happy people? I don't know why I'm even doing this video, but man, something just not sitting right with me, folks. Something's not sitting right with me. So on this Instagram account, it's mainly my bike hobby, my cosplay and all that. What's up, R6? What's going on, brother? Yeah, I don't know. Something bugging me right now, man. First day of my vacation from work, and I'm off from military duty this month. So I'm trying to enjoy it before I have to report back next month. But bro, I'll tell you what's up in a second. You know, I'm just trying to formulate my thoughts on this Raja Jackson, the son of Rampage, or Quentin Jackson. And yo, bro, I thought about it all day, and I just found myself in a very, 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 very bad place. Very bad place. And right now I'm just sitting on my bike. Usually what I do when I'm kind of in this headspace that I gotta chill, I just come into the garage and sit on my bike. So it brings me peace, it calms me, and putting into context for my PTSD, my stress disorder, bikes are what calms me. That's why I've been doing it for 15 years. Wrapping up season 15, going into 16, Gio, what's going on, brother? Make sure y'all check out Reverend to Riches. That's my dog, my stomping partner. Him and my buddy Mike, when he gets back from Arizona, going to Kawasaki Tech School, just like you, R6. He's doing this thing out there. But yeah. So let me get to the point. Most of you only know me for like my predator persona, my military stuff and whatnot, but there's also another side, right? So as you can see, some of the gray hairs popping up. I am an older individual, in 1987, I used to get bullied when I was in grade school. I think I was in second grade or whatever, and that was my first foray into martial arts. So one thing, and my sensei will get mad at me for this, like, you don't let people know what you know. Like when you bow and you do you bow forward, you have your right fist clenched, but you have your left hand covering it, concealing, your abilities. Yeah, man, I'm having trouble sleeping too. But this Quentin, this Rampage, his son, and that veteran, and I think that's probably what's amping it up more for me, because he is a veteran with PTSD that I've seen. Stu Smith, I've seen folks like him at the Lions VA when I had someone close to me over there for mental health, right? And sometimes, people got to understand, and I had to learn this too, like there's some people, and even with the present situation that Reverend to Riches know about, like, restraint is important. And if you're trained, there's things that you just don't do. And Gio can back me up on this. Again, I've had been training in various martial arts disciplines since the age of 7. And 1987 to now, as you get older, even though I don't practice as much now after my back surgery and stuff, but Like, there's some things that you just don't. I give people a warning, like, hey, you don't want to go there with me. You don't want to throw hands with me, you know. But at the same time, too, I recognize that um, I don't go seeking anything, you know. Uh, my sensei always taught me when I was at King University. 5 years under his instruction, uh, you gotta exercise restraint. And I've been trained in weapon systems. I got my nunchucks. I know some folks have seen my nunchuck demo. I got like several katanas upstairs, like all kinds of stuff. I mean, I love this stuff. I love it. Like my family in Haiti, Bruce Lee was like a hero, and everybody was like trying to pattern themselves. So it's in my family, and uh, hold on. There are people who get trained, and then there's people who actually embrace all of the teachings. Exactly, exactly. You know, you can have somebody that can pick up all the gifts of the technique, but in practice and in philosophy, like you could get the physical, and then there's the philosophy in practice, way of life. That's why I love Cobra Kai and Karate Kid and all that stuff, because that when and I met Ralph Macchio in person at Comic Con, where like balance is important, right? You could be a great fighter but a shitty person, and Raja Jackson proved to be that. But you know, without going too deep into my resume, I know a lot, a lot. And this is not to instill fear or anything like that. Like because even like when with me playing games, like I love Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Dead or Alive, Tekken, all that stuff. Like I'm a fanatic of martial science. I love it. It is interwoven into like pop culture, like movies, Matrix, kung fu flicks, all of that, right? So when I saw what happened to that veteran, at first, and a lot of people on Facebook, to me, a lot of you are trash. You are trash individuals for condoning what this 25-year-old punk, he's not even a kid, 25-year-old punk. And whether, Rampage or, like, look, he's a grown-ass man that made a decision. So I'm going to judge him as such. But this guy, man, it's like it was just a storm of terrible decisions being made, and the more and more I was like watching Abba preach, and I wanted to wait before I said anything, because a lot of people jump the gun, come to conclusions, make judgments, and they don't have all the facts, right? And now now that I got like a good majority of the facts, I sided with Raja first, and oh, like, wait a minute, this kid is wrong. He is wrong for what he did, you know. So a slight recap: Stu, and I'm a big WWE, UFC, love that stuff, right? So Stu thought he was one of the workers, or like a talent, right? And he took a beer can prop. It wasn't even a real can, like a prop, and smacked it over Raja's head to kind of start an angle, right? And I've been watching like wrestling since like I was a kid, like 5 years old, or whatever, right? And that it's part of the show. It's for a dramatic effect, right? And you see Psycho Stu pull the can thing, right? And when he said to Raja, "Oh, you're not gonna sell it. You're not gonna sell it." Obviously, and I don't. You know what? I'm not gonna give Raja a pass, because his dad knows about how the inner workings of like the pro wrestling arena goes down, right? So there's no ignorance to it. Like, wrestling is part of mainstream pop culture, right? You know, between John Cena, Batista, The Rock, now Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns and all that stuff, right? I can't say there's ignorance to that because there's too many eyes on that industry, and he's gonna act like, oh, he didn't know, right? And once Stu realized that, oh, he's not one of the workers, and some of his colleagues were basically telling him, oh, dude, he's not a worker, he apologized. He's like, oh man, I'm so sorry. And I counted on 4 different occasions he apologized, and he extended his hand to apologize and extend the olive branch, right? And if Raja still felt something about it, why did you give that man a false sense of security to make him feel comfortable enough to drop his guard and, agree for that spot for that double leg takedown, right? Now, me, I wrestled for 5 years, and a double leg takedown, if you're not trying to hurt somebody, you're not going to hoist them over your head like that. And then, sweep their ankles under them, because the way that he got the so-called receipt, he pretty much like concussed him or knocked him out off of a throw. But again, this guy literally accepted the apology, agreed to the spot so he could get his get back. And, we're in this culture now that, live streaming, people gassing folks up and all this nonsense, right? It's like we're in a toxic culture. Like, there's something has to change. Something has to change. Like, the human race has to change on some level, because this kid got himself gassed up. He waited like it was reported like 30 minutes, or like there was this a gap in time where he apologized, he agreed to the spot, and then he let that other pro wrestler with the cowboy hat gas him up and say, yeah, make sure you get him back. Make sure you get him back. Was he a colleague that had issues with Stu? And he sent this kid to do his dirty work? That's crazy to me. But again, moving forward with that. So now the time comes for him to do the receipt. He gets in the ring, double leg takedown. Stu was knocked out. I slow-moed it. His head whiplashed. Like, he did like a textbook, like slam. Like, granted, me as a former wrestler, me as a still practicing martial artist, like, yeah, he must be beating his chest that he did that against somebody who wasn't even going for a sprawl. He wouldn't have been able to get that on me. I tell you that 1,000%. He went, did that, and connected 22 times. My God, 22 uncontested hits on an unconscious individual. Whereas he sat, he was on the streams, the people were gassing him up. They're like, they have a rage out or blackout or whatever, and I'm like, man, these people are really egging him on. And this would remind me of when I was a kid, and seeing folks trying to instigate or antagonize a fight that had nothing to do with it, right? But, to Raja, I sent him a message. I call him a coward. I'd fight him for free. For real. I would. Wouldn't even blink. But, again, I can't condone violence. But it's tough for me because that was a veteran. That's a veteran. Like, that's a brother in green. That freaking pissed me off. That pissed me off to oh man, I was sweating earlier. I'm just like, I fly out to LA. It just like one round. Because that was a bully mentality there. You can look at Psycho Stu Smith, and see that there was no way he can match this kid. There was no way. I wish he would have done that to someone that was more capable. Wink, wink. That would have been able to guard and sprawl and make him work for that takedown. But again, he acted like. Now I'm just trying to. I don't want to get into a insult laced impromptu stream or whatever, but what he did was deplorable. And then this is a guy that you could tell if he has PTSD or whatnot, and then they were just talking about it or whatever. Now, whether Raja knew that or not, or understood, but you can tell that this kid has temper issues, restraint issues. I started seeing some other videos surface. I'm like, man, that him and his dad, there's some issues going on here. There are major issues. Yeah, that's what cowards do, 100%. R6, brother, I'm telling you, if you ever saw me compete, I would have put on the show, bro. I legit would love to give him what he gave. That was uncalled for. That was uncalled for. I'm going to say this. You know, a lot of folks, and I had a Marine, actually, he's upset with me on Facebook because I brought up a comparison. Why is there outrage when we have law enforcement overdoing it, right? I had cops pull guns on me until they found out, at the time I was an E7. And more recently, as Master Sergeant, I got pulled over on my bike, getting cornered. I had 3 squad cars around me, and oh, thank you for your service and all this other stuff. And it's like, it could have been a bad situation where they're beating the living crap out of me. Now, trying to get on Eyewitness News and all this other stuff, just try to get some sort of justice. People get outraged when cops go too far, right? And then when, on the civilian side, you have to practice what you preach. This guy, right? Let's say Raja was in a situation where he was pulled over, cops went too far. No, look, how could they do this? But then that same person is doing some stuff like that in the ring, right? You can't have it both ways. You can't say the cops can't do it, but then you'll go ahead and do it yourself. I'm just, connecting dots or whatever. Some people will not agree with that comparison or try to put it into context, But, yeah, that 22 shots he from what I saw when I came down here, facial fractures, teeth were knocked out. He was choking on his blood in there. He flatlined twice. That's a veteran. He fought for this country. I do not play when it comes to that. And with PTSD, he did not deserve to come home to get into a wrestling promotion. Trying to find a cure. Like, see, I ride bikes because of mine, right? Imagine if somebody took that away from me. Like, you're taking that away from a guy. How is he supposed to cope? So only true warriors know when enough is enough. 100%. 100%. Yeah. 1 or 2 shots would have been enough. 22 that means that, either he went into blind rage, and that is evidence of him needing counseling, or he, again, I'm trying not to start insulting because that's what I want to do. Because this mofo does not deserve any sort of respect. Then he wants to go on a rant and like, people stop playing with you, bro. I'm telling you, he doesn't know what it's like. He's already 0-1 in his MMA career. There's some people who don't compete in MMA that will freaking light him up and send him to the shadow realm. Yo, for real. Let me tell you. Ooh, my hands are like sweating. I wish I was still competing. I would be like, let's do this. Let's do this. Because people like that need to get what they gave. He's a vet. He did not deserve that. And I don't care what side of the aisle, whether he's blue or red or whatever, all I see is green. All I see is like a human being that was literally unaware of what just like it just like that. Roger Jackson just walked up, got into the ring. He stood like he just turned around right into it. Bam, 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 bam. Now the man, the pro wrestler that saved him, uh, the video just came out that Raja swung and hit him also. So that's 2 counts of assault. The premeditated situation against Stu, like the dude is cooked. The dude is cooked. And there you got some people, like I said, on Facebook who are defending this. Like, well, he shouldn't have hit him with the can. I'm like, dude, that obviously they don't watch pro wrestling. They don't watch sports entertainment. So I will kind of say, hey, all right, too easy. You just don't know. But when it's explained to you in the confines of this is how a work or a prop, or Stu even said it in the video that were like, oh, I saw a camera here. I thought you were part of the show. My bad. I'm sorry. There's some people that don't realize how an apology goes a long way. That goes a long way with me. Even with some of the issues that I'm dealing with some of my writing circle folks, there's one individual who is being an antagonist. And I'm doing my very best to avoid that situation. Right? If that person, despite the 5 years or whatever, him messing with a friend of mine, giving him a hard time, who's on the autistic spectrum, and he's still messing with him, if he can stop and say, hey, look, my bad, I'm sorry, that would at least start the construction of a bridge to mend things. Because I used to be cool with that guy. But if people don't show remorse, they don't apologize, then let the chips fall where they fall. But Stu apologized. He apologized. He's like, I didn't know, my bad. You shook hands twice, and he still did that? He still did that. That means that the Raja Jackson is a piece of garbage. He's a trash human being for doing what he did. I'm going to tag him on it, too, because I like I said, I DM'd him calling him a coward. I would love to throw hands with this guy. I would love... Ooh, bro. I guess I'm a justice seeker. My real name is Alex, which is Greek for defender of men. So, like, I live up to the reputation or the meaning of that name. But I can't see that happen to people. Like, it bothers me when folks are unjustly either beaten, teased, antagonized, and whatnot. Like, I can't. That's a trigger for me, you know? But I don't know. Maybe it's a hero complex I have or something. But, yeah, that's it. His trainer also to blame. As a sensei, it is their responsibility to teach the individual the right way. Us, 100%. 100%. My sensei, who he just retired. He was on the police force for 20 years. And prior to him, I had a wrestling coach for 4 years. So I started it with Taekwondo, transitioned to freestyle wrestling with some Greco-Roman. And then after I left that, when I got to college, that's when I entered Sala Kempo. That instructor, he was the one that got me into the philosophies of it all. And he always used to make big movie references and stuff. Like, remember Kickboxer, remember in Bloodsport and all that stuff, right? And he always tried to make me understand it to things that I could relate or reference. So I picked up a whole lot. Like, martial arts is not just, using your fist, but it's also up here. It's also up here, So, yeah, man. The veteran is in bad shape. They said that he was in an induced coma for a period. I don't know if the status changed, but he was in a breathing tube for a minute. I think he's now alert, but he doesn't remember what happened. That's how bad he beat the piss out of this guy. He doesn't even remember what happened. So, without going too long, I just had to take off the mask and kind of dial it back and just say, hey, aside from the Predator, Alex, a 21-year vet, waiting for my retirement orders to come in so I could sunset my career. That bothered me. That really, like, I believe that justice will be had. The family needs to make sure that they press charges. This is not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's the right and wrong thing. And what he did to that man, he did not deserve that. It's almost as if, like, a fly lands on your brand new car, and to eliminate the fly, you bring a rocket launcher. That was just too much. It was just too much. Somebody brings a 9mm, then you bring an AT-4 grenade launcher. Like, why go that far? Why go that far? Again, that's I had to get that off my chest, man, because I'm really not I'm not feeling what happened. And yeah, somebody's like, oh, I'm biased because it was a soldier. Whether it wasn't a soldier, I would probably still have the same reaction, but it's amped up because of his veteran status and the fact that he had PTSD. And that's it's like, unless you're on the other side of the curtain, no one will understand. No one will understand. And I have empathy for that. I wish Stu Smith makes a speedy recovery. I hope he can participate in his pastime once more, once he's all healed up, But the PTSD are scars that you can't see, right? And for him, some people, again, smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol. Me, I ride and work out or whatever. But, man, that was uncalled for. I believe in karma. I'm surprised it's taking this long. It's Monday. It's like freaking midnight or after midnight. This happened over the weekend, and he's still not arrested. He's still not arrested. That is just baffling to me. If there's somebody that they wanted to get, the video, the stream, all of that is evidence. He needs to go down. He needs to go down. Because I'm pretty sure if justice doesn't get him, or the law, something else is coming his way. I'm not wishing it. That's just the law of the universe, bro. I truly believe you're going to get yours, Raja. You are a piece of garbage. And I wish, and there's some other folks that agree too. Had I been front row, Rampage would have had issues with me. 100%. For kicking your ass. You piece of shit. I'm sorry. But thank y'all for letting me rant and rave. There's a higher power. Things will happen in due time. Agreed.